Welcome back to the channel. Uncle Sil here with project builds and scale models. In this video I will be working on the Chevrolet C-60 from M2 machines. I have my styrene out and I'm making little leaf springs. So I'm putting the leaf springs on this build. I'm scratch building the whole chassis and the whole frame. And I got some inspiration from the leaf springs from this little casting. So if you can see there, has some leaf springs on there. Let me try to zoom in some. I don't know if you could see it. Let's see. Let me just take the tire off. Oh, I went and swapped this too for different tires that I took off the Jeep CJ from Greenlight. But yeah, I seen these leaf springs on here and I thought I could try to make my own with styrene. It's gonna be a very fragile frame and chassis, but I think I'll be able to do it. Alrighty, so let's check out the C-60. So this is as far as I got on the C-60. I thought I would do a video of like the Bondo work and all that, cutting it, but I'll save that for another truck. So I do have to fill in the top of the cab there. You can see the air bubbles that I missed. So yeah, this is polystyrene frame. So the bottom I did a scratch built base also. I'm not too sure where I put the base for this one. I was gonna compare it. Let me find it right quick. Alright, so here's the stock base that I cut up, and that's like a really big difference bulk wise, because that's really bulky, but the one I made is kind of slimmed down. And I had to cut the cap to fit the polystyrene in there. So let's open this and show you how I bonded the two interiors. I'm thinking about making the back seat, the rear back seat, a bench seat, and run it across the whole truck cap. You know, like, let's see, this back part, thinking about making that a bench seat rather than adding the two single seats and having a gap. So I'm gonna probably scratch build something too with this within this cap. I do have to fill in that gap, but it did fit pretty well. So I used super glue, my Loctite. It had the big casing on there, but I ripped the casing off because I couldn't get more glue out, and there's still quite a bit of glue in there. Anyway, I used the super glue to bond the caps, and from there I went and used JB Weld, the steel and hardener, you know, your regular JB Weld. So after the second day, I was finally able to sand. The first day I couldn't really sand it because it was too wet still, so I still need to work on that. So this truck, one of my trucks, I had a great big frame for it, and I called it the Frog, but I'm gonna do away with this frame, so maybe I'm just gonna save it. It has a full suspension, so I'm gonna save this frame for another project. Need to clean it up. I haven't cleaned up the Bondo since I last worked on it. That needs filing down to be smooth. And Backwoods Modeler, I was just watching your YouTube video. You were saying you wanted to check out some suspension on some trucks, so I'll go ahead and show you the custom suspension that I put on here. And this isn't my suspension. I believe this guy named Sharon Tarshish on YouTube. Yeah, look him up. He's the one who did this type. I just went and added my own twist to it. But yeah, it's pretty much a paper clip holding the axle in and a guitar string for the recoil, like the bounce. So yeah, that's what the one of the big trucks. This is one of my biggest trucks. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This suspension, you might want to try it out. Sharon Tarshish, go Tarshish. I can't pronounce it right, but go check him out on YouTube. He has Diecast Cars Garage, and he shows you step by step how to do the suspension. But back to the C-60. This was like 4 different colors before. It was green, red, and brown, and then the army green was the last color. So you can see that kind of in the door. I was thinking about just leaving it as is and going over the black, just like with black, and weathering it to make it like a old bomber, but I'm not too sure. With the framework that I'm gonna be doing on this, I think I'm gonna have to spray the whole cab and make it look nice. But yeah, that's what I have as far as the scratch built chassis on the C-60. And I went and made a little, how would you say, the housing for the screw. So this part sits in there pretty nice. So I am able to tighten it down, but I don't want to tighten it to the extent of the styrene cracking or anything or showing abrasion. So I just lightly. So the wheels, excuse me, the wheels for this, I think I pulled off a mace toe. It was like Nacho's Garage or something like that, one of those old haulers. But with the leaf springs set up, I think this will look pretty nice because it doesn't have too much of a, how it, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't go out too much. It sets in there just right. And as far as the back, the dually wheels, they'll be sitting about there. So yeah, this truck is I've been working on this for 2 days now. This is my third day actually. So 3 days. And I'm just slowly taking my time. Usually when I would build stuff, I would knock it out and be done by the second day. But this one, I'm gonna take my time. And the leaf springs, I'm kind of iffy or skeptical, or however you would say it, about adding the leaf springs on here, because after I do that and the super glue and Bondo, I'm not too sure how fragile the leaf springs will be. But that's just like a mock-up. They're not going to be sitting right there exactly, but you know, just to show you what it'll look like roughly. And yeah, this styrene, if you haven't used the styrene, the modeling plastic, you should go and find it, or if not, order it. They have, if you have a Hobby Lobby or a, I don't know if they have it at Walmart. I haven't seen this at Walmart. I got this at Hobby Lobby. And there's different types of thicknesses and different, how would you say, gauges of the, like, let me just show you. One I have here is a square tube. They have like the circle tubing and brass tubing and all kinds of stuff. This is where I got my materials, or that's where I got my materials, is at Hobby Lobby. This is brass tubing that I use for my what is that? My axle, the stock Hot Wheel axle for like your Hot Wheel or Matchbox. It'll fit in there in that tubing. So that's what I grabbed that tubing for. If I want to make an axle, I can just put this back in and make it as wide as I want. K&S Precision Metals. I'm pretty sure you can order from them, but I don't know. I just get my stuff at Hobby Lobby. It is quite expensive here in New Mexico, but it is worth. I would say that it's worth it once you spend that extra dollar for your materials and supplies, and you'll be able to produce something like this. And this is a rough paint job. I didn't really want it to look like that, but probably because I didn't sand it that well. But yeah, the C-60. Sorry about that. Follow along and stay tuned to see the progress on this. I didn't know the video is already at 10 minutes, so I'm gonna stop now. You have a good evening, day, night, lunchtime, dinner time, breakfast, whatever. Be safe out there. Have a good time. Keep collecting. Uncle Sil is signing off.